All right, hey, how you doing out there? Would you believe it's Dream Warriors episode 96? Oh, I'm pumped. Early in the morning. I haven't slept in a while. Recovering from a stomach something like bad. Worst stomach pain I've had forever, over a week. I kind of recall something similar happening a few years ago, and gas pills helped me. So, in case anyone wanted to know that. But look, you already hear the music by now. But let's just fade out and fade back in, and we got some cool things to discuss. Yeah. So, my God, getting to the position of sitting down here with all of you, it really did take some time. Painful, because again, it's juggling projects, working the 9 to 5, gearing up other people to start sitting down with me again. There's a lot of management when it comes to that. This is one of the reasons why I got frustrated so much way back with Mark and Norm. Amongst other things, but some of my frustration was that they couldn't stick to a schedule. They would, like sometimes cancel or not seem enthusiastic. So I would kind of try and like add them to like a Google Calendar, send them the invite, and there was only like a handful of times that that was like actually like managed. Like I would say even like both marks are like they're grouped into that. I don't know people. I don't know how anyone out there functions and tries to get things done. If you're maybe pretending to be high level, if you don't run your day through a calendar, when I'm here alone, which is there's a little bit of a stretch. I've kept it a little cool with the ladies, just because I've been so focused on so many other things. One of the first things I do when I wake up is I have Alexa tell me what's on my calendar, and it's me like setting things up basically. Sometimes I'll have like recordings and things like scheduled into my calendar, and they don't happen, and I love it because I get to just move them to the next day, and they don't get forgotten. So I don't know, like is is that something that I've grown less patient with, or like do I just not allow it? Meaning that the people who don't work like that, I can't work with you. You have to be focused, and you have to be somewhat organized to do things with me. And I guess that's going to go right into a little bit of Dream Warrior, AKAPAD Peter A. DeLuca, your boy, updates. Quick shout out to coffee because it's early in the morning. It's 8 a.m. I've been up since about 11. I kind of came home yesterday, went right to sleep, and I slept through like the end of the stomach problem, which I was expecting. I thought that was going to be last night, but this is the first day I woke up in about a week without stomach pain, and I'm through it all. So all of you can kind of rest well knowing I'm well. But yeah, so getting into some of the Dream Warrior updates, a lot of what I like my slowdown for here. And look, I have like a huge list of movies that I've already watched and notes on them that I'm going to just chip away at. But I'm gearing up to do Dream Warriors like NFL, Warriors football. So that's going to be one episode a week, and that should be buddied with a YouTube video where I discuss NFL books. Super excited about that. Like really excited to go through the NFL books. So that's like it's a huge management shift. I also have October. We got October coming up. I got the 31 Days of Dread and Inktober to contend with during October. A huge undertaking. I got material from from Inktober a year ago, last October from 2017 that I still wanted to put out. So Inktober last October was like the beginning of me recording from the drawing table, figuring out how to do time lapses, tutorials, the lighting, rigging up the camera, all the logistics, and then everything post shoot, meaning editing bay, special effects, motion graphics, rendering, like all of it. And that was like the start. And I couldn't even make it through because my phone couldn't keep up. And so that started me a path of me getting really good with like taking people's old phones, like refurbishing phones and getting them going just so I could record onto a SD card. So, but yeah, so October's coming up. That's taking up huge amount of my time already, in just figuring out the logistics of that. I got a vacation coming up in September. I'm trying to work around that. That's going to run right into the birth of the start of the NFL season. So I need material already recorded, like edited, ready to publish before I even leave for that. So it's a lot of things. And then there's the hashtag ComicGate. It's a community on Twitter that I am, not just Twitter, but overall, but Twitter's the breeding ground for it. And it's just a bunch of people trying to save the comic book industry. I'm trying to complete a comic book to contribute to that movement. The one from my high school days. And there should be YouTube videos on me working on that coming out very soon. So on YouTube, it's AKAPAD. But yeah, so let's go through how to follow what I'm doing on each platform. Twitter is a lot of comic book commentary and movie commentary. So if you're interested in just some of my snap judgment thoughts on things, follow me on Twitter, AKAPAD. Clips, video, audio, and a ton of artwork is on Instagram, AKAPAD13. I do one theme a day on Snapchat. And sometimes these themes go from, hey, here's a quick recipe. We call them recipes or padsapes. We're between the two. Or I'll go through like 5 tips to get started on YouTube or 5 tips on drawing hair. Like things like that. So you can find me on Snapchat, AKAPad. And all of this is collected at akapad.com. My blog is there. There's other original material there. And that's the catch-all. So moving forward. We're here to talk about SummerSlam and the World Wrestling Entertainment. SummerSlam was 2 nights ago. I'm not going to talk about what happened on Raw. Raw did have a good follow-up, in my opinion. But yeah, so my relationship with wrestling is so unique because every time I got into it, I got into it through other people. And by into it I mean you phase in, you phase out. And now this is my longest run of following it. So I moved into the city about 7 years ago. I subscribed to the WWE channel through Comcast, and it was such a archaic menu system, and they would just kind of have updates. It might have been twice a month, but at least one big update per a month. And the big thing that they did was they released an episode of Monday Nitro and the opposite episode of Monday Night Raw with commentary, so you could watch the full episodes of each, but there was actual commentary of what happened and how the two shows would position one another. And I thought that was going to carry on to what the network is now. There is no sign of it, but they did do I think a 16-part Monday Night War documentary series that hugely became WWE shipped. The WCW angles are just evaporated from that documentary. So it is biased. very much so. There was a lot that they undersell that WCW was doing well. They kind of always say that the WCW wasn't merchandising well, and they kind of were. There was as much WCW NWO merchandise as there was like anything wrestling like that WWE was even doing at the time during the Attitude Era. But anyway, so I've been following everything for 6 7 years now, and and before that it was mostly the NWO Attitude Era. So the ruthless what's considered the ruthless aggression era and the final few years of WCW were complete blank slates to me. And then up until the NWO Attitude Era, I watched it as a kid, and really got into it. Ultimate Warrior was easily my favorite guy. And here the funny thing though is that when like Bret Hart kind of started to take the mantle, I really like. I just remember him as a kid. I just never liked him, and it took me out of it. So there was no incentive for me to follow. And the times they came on, like I was doing so many other things. I was sometimes playing 3 sports at a time, sometimes walking myself to the sports fields because some of them were in close proximity of where I lived. And those were like Saturdays, like Saturday and Sunday, like practices, like for me. And I don't know, like I did spend time indoors as a child, but I my God, I think I spent more hours outside just running around like a maniac. But yeah, so I don't want to go through like every single match of SummerSlam 2018, but the big thing that's sticking out right now is how they handled Ronda Rousey, and it's almost like the Ronda Rousey prophecy has come true. And what I mean by that is that when she was with the in the UFC, it was so hard to challenge her ability. Like you accepted her ability up until the Holly Holmes fight. It was God given. I remember even telling someone that there was like no way that Holly Holmes even had a chance against her because Ronda would be able to take her to the ground. And even if Holmes overpowered her from time to time or squirmed her way out of some of the moves and some of the holds, she would be weakened by it. If you've ever wrestled, ever like, like if you ever did some wrestling of your own, you get tired quicker than you do throwing punches. So I would just see that Holly Holm would struggle and get winded very quickly in that fight. Opening Ronda to basically strike her. Okay, so none of that happened. That was one of the all-time upsets. That was as big of an upset. I'm just going from memory here. I think Buster Douglas when he knocked out Mike Tyson, and it was as big of an upset of the Giants beating the Patriots, of the Cavaliers coming back against the Warriors, so on and so on. I'm just referencing more modern day upsets. But during that time, like, you dismissed anyone that criticized Ronda Rousey. The hype around her, the machine, was so well, like, oiled and organized and strong and powerful that you did not refute it. You accepted it. And Holly Holmes humbled us all. Holly Holmes taught us a wonderful lesson that night. And I remember I watched it at Xfinity here in Philadelphia, in South Philly, and oh my God, that was a fun night. They might have had like $2 Bud Lights. My friend was working there. He was feeding me free beers. He was working security. He snuck my friend and I a couple freebies along the night, and there was a Geno Steaks in there. So, and it's so convenient being able to like jump in line and get a quick cheesesteak from Geno's as opposed to waiting in line. Like, because usually you go there late at night and there's just like a 3 hour line. It's I'm exaggerating a little bit, but the readiness of that is so important. But yeah, so Ronda Rousey's UFC career just evaporated. Her ego, like wherever, however you want to classify it, it took such a major hit that it, like I don't want, like I don't know, I don't think she's ever been vocal on it, but I think it broke her, because everybody wanted her to be like, to retire undefeated. That's the, that's like one of the last things that she said that seemed real, and like knowing that's not going to happen, like her comeback failure, like way too much time, taking like a year off like that. So she gets told by Nunez, who literally has a striking motion like like she has a striking range of a guy, and it looks like she hits as hard as one. Yeah, I'm not saying she can go up against the men. Come on, that's ridiculous. But I think she would be able to like hold her own. Look, keep in mind that during this time too of Ronda Rousey, people were convinced she could beat Floyd Mayweather. Okay, so this is what I mean about like there was like this prophecy with her. So along this run, she did a appearance at one of the WrestleManias with The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, and they teased it. And lo and behold, Ronda lost her MMA career, took a year off, and so maybe it took her like a year and a half to get maybe 2 years total to make an entrance into WWE as one of their characters, because like she's still playing a character. Like that's not Ronda Rousey. Now this transition between Ronda and WWE is, I think, one of the greatest that they've ever done and nurtured. They've tried this before. Even WCW tried to bring in established talent into like established athletes into the squared circle, into the ring. Like you can kind of say, hey, Brock Lesnar, yes, but Brock Lesnar, like you, his background, his like you had to, he wasn't established. So like they could easily create him, and they could tell a story with him. Like it's different with Ronda Rousey because she's so well known, so widespread that like they had to handle her properly. So she wins the title against Alexa Bliss, my girl. She's so freaking hot, so freaking hot. Alexa Bliss, like my thoughts about the matches. Like Alexa played the coward, like 100%. It wasn't that long of a match. Okay, so that was the Amazon Alexa playing music because I was talking about Alexa Bliss. Wow, it's crazy. I can't. I guess next time I record, I'm gonna have to just unplug Alexa. Yeah. Anyway, it's kind of good. It's creepy. Like the I literally use Amazon Alexa for music and to get my schedule, like in the morning. There's I think there's very little use for that the device, but anyway. So yeah, so Alexa Bliss wrestled. That's so nice. Holy crap! Yeah, so I literally just had to unplug Amazon Alexa. Like I want to say that product is less than 50% effective definitely comes and goes with what it wants to listen to, how it wants to listen. It has the worst startup voice or volume, meaning that if I'm across the room and I say, Alexa, what time is it? Or Alexa, what day is it? Common question. She responds at the volume that you last left her. And which is fine. Like, okay, I get that, but there should be a response volume that's like a default volume, so you can hear her. Because like, why would you want it low? Like, like it should be predictive on that. Like, music is one thing. If it's playing music and you leave it at volume, it restarts at that volume. Everything else should have an audible level. So part of my like war with Amazon Alexa is constantly dealing with volume changes, and it's the worst. Like, I don't know, like I'm less than 50% happy with the product, but yeah. So getting back with distractions, getting back to the Alexa Bliss Ronda Rousey match, it's like they pulled the China character, and they literally wrapped Ronda Rousey around the character of China. Now, Triple H, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Paul Livingo, whatever the heck his last name is. He's the one. Him and Shawn Michaels are the ones that brought China into the WWF. That's what it was called at the time during the Attitude Era. She became one of his like sidekicks, and then later a instrumental tool in DX. She was almost like one of their enforcers, like, and she had still the greatest women's title reign of all time. She dominated any girl that can go up against her, because there was no one that could. It was beyond like fathom, and they gave her some quick matches that just totally fit the character. So they're taking, everyone's saying that Ronda Rousey is the female Brock Lesnar. That's not 100% true. They're trying to make her into another China with a character that they can control, and this is something that Triple H is intimate about. He knows about this. So they give her a quick match. She, I think, does an arm bar, but arm bends or something. Alexa Bliss, and she taps out and Ronda wins. So that becomes your headlines for the next day everywhere. Is that Ronda? So the Ronda Rousey prophecy is true, meaning that the persona that they built up for her during the MMA stuff is her actual wrestling persona. Say the entire time it was a wrestling persona, because as dominant as she was, there was no division for her. Who she fought against and who she contested with. Look, we say what we want about Misha Tate, but like the rest of her opponents were kind of down and out. They were done. I think they were done. They were out of their prime. And then the division came up with with women in their prime, and they took her apart like no problem. It took maybe 2 years for everything to catch up to Ronda Rousey. Now, what do I think the sport? Do I think UFC? Do I think the pay-per-views? Like would it have been better? Would it have taken less power away from Conor McGregor when he came up? Because we kind of had the fall of Silva and John Jones. 100%. DC doesn't like get them in. And I'm just talking about the people that would make the magazine covers that you would buy a mug of. That if you do like an action figure line, these are the people we're choosing. And Ronda Rousey was in that conversation for any type of like a merchandise type push, and that's how like what you have. So Yeah, WWE made like a very interesting choice with how they handled her getting the title. Being a Alexa Bliss supporter, I would have to had her wrestle a little bit, like a little bit of an exchange, because she does rally between her cowardness as her character, and I think that that's one of the things that I like about it. So the issue is though is when Bill Goldberg, WCW, when he came up, he got short matches because they were like, look, he can do good moves. He can do a few good moves, and he'll have to learn along the way. I kind of feel like this is what's happening with Ronda Rousey. Even though they've given her more to do, or it seems like it, she still hasn't done a lot within the ring. And for her to accelerate, she's going to have to hit the ropes. She's going to have to come off the ropes, like literally off the ropes, literally off the top of the ropes. She's going to have to go outside of the ring. Her moveset's going to have to expand. And I don't know if she's that athletic. I don't know if she's built. This is why a lot of the girls that we have today that are holding the title, outside of Charlotte Flair, and look, they gave Charlotte the title too. I mean, that really should be what WrestleMania builds into: Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey. That possibly could headline WrestleMania, and but we didn't get that. We're probably not going to get that, and so Charlotte Flair is a freak in nature because she's strong, powerful, and she has massive move sets. She also has more training under her than Ronda has, probably can ever have. Not saying that Ronda's not working hard. She is, because we see montage vignettes of it. Right? We've seen videos of her practicing the wrestling thing. So it's going to be interesting of how they handle the Ronda side and the division, and if she will in fact have longer matches. Now, I will say this: when they brought back Goldberg to go through Brock Lesnar a few times recently, the important thing to consider with that is that they used the short match gimmick to Goldberg's advantage, because by that point it became a gimmick. Okay, it became like a trope for him and the character, and they definitely knew to tap into it, and they used it very wisely. Every time he met up with Brock Lesnar, it was a quick match. It was a quick exchange, quick pinfall, and it literally like worked. I thought it worked like gold. But look, the other thing to consider is that like wrestling doesn't make people universally happy. It's not designed to. You're you love things, you hate things equally, and that is it's almost like this like abusive relationship that you're sucked into, but that's also part of the fun. I tend to like it all. People tell me things suck or character like this and that. I think like the only times I'm vocal is when I see guys like missing their spots, or not taking their character far enough. But you don't know what's happening behind the scenes. Sometimes you don't know if they're being told otherwise. But I think in all, what WWE is doing right now is they're in a storytelling run that is redefining the company. And look, people knock it for growth, or viewership or whatever, but they're holding on to what they have. Okay, they boiled down from the Attitude Era. Those, you could only go down from those numbers. They boiled down and found their base and solidified it. And look, we're dealing with a fall of pop culture. The Marvel movies are going SJW. We're going to lose traction with the Marvel movies. It's going to happen. Dream Warriors prediction. Mark my words. We've lost Star Wars. So young boys are they're drawn to very little now. There's very little there for them. I think WWE has an opportunity to capture a nice generation of kids now, for the future. As a kid, there's no better time to have ever gotten into it because you can watch it with your parents. You can share it. You're not getting in trouble if you're checking it out. And that was the issue with the Attitude Era. Sure, it was like a little bit naughty. You felt like you were kind of doing something behind the teacher's back. But you can only take that so far. As a product, it's capped. But I think what happened with Ronda Rousey is a definition of how far they've come with telling stories, and making a product. Like this is somewhat of the WWE golden age. And I think a lot of commentators are missing that. I'm different than other wrestling commentators, or when I commentate on wrestling. I don't know if I'm a wrestling commentator because this is only the second time I've actually spoken about it. But everyone just goes negative. Like every single podcast, it's just negative. And look, I'm not about that. I'm sorry. There's so much wonderful effort and hard work that I see that I just love and I'm drawn to. I like watching anything WWE live. If that doesn't inspire you to say F it and just go further, go harder, and if you're stuck somewhere, as long as you got time to figure it out, you trust that you can figure it out. As long as like that's like your attitude, you will get there. You will figure it out. You will move it. Like move the chain, move the needle. And WWE is that because the evolution of the company. If you watch a pay-per-view from 2000 and you watch one from 2018, it's a massive difference. You can go year by year and see the changes, and that that the WWE channel is worth it for $10 a month just for that lesson. And I love their documentaries. But look, I just wanted to talk about that, the prophecy of Ronda Rousey. Look, everyone, you know where to find me. Rock and roll. I love you all. I love hanging out with you. And we're doing some things. We're doing some things here. And just remember, get me on YouTube just search AKAPAD and subscribe because there's just all kinds of crazy eclectic things happening on YouTube. and I need some of your feedback for it. Okay? So I'll talk to you and have a great day. Bye.